Welcome back, Tennos. Another week of streaming Warframe and another weekly thoughts about Warframe. Warframe suffers from a very, very unique problem, and that is the community is too helpful. And I do think it potentially impacts new players' experiences of the game. And at one end of that scale, you have streamers who are trying Warframe for the very first time. And I do think sometimes you come in a bit hot and scare away, maybe not scare away streamers, but potentially deny them of some of the experiences of Warframe. And remember, we don't want them to just try Warframe. We don't want them to just be paid sponsorships to play Warframe. We want them to come back to playing Warframe. And I mean, obviously at the extreme end, streamers are in that category. But hey, maybe you've got a friend you've been nagging to play Warframe for a very long time. And I do think there are some mistakes you could make that might scare them off. And why maybe we need to take the foot off the pedal a little bit and help a little bit less. Let me talk you through this. I love this discussion because it is really about what makes a game fun. What is enjoyable for you. So I've always liked talking about this stuff on stream. I think it's really interesting to think about like what makes Warframe fun for you. So hopefully you find it fun too. And if you do, slam the like button. Give us a comment. All right, let's go. Right, you know it's getting serious when I whip out the paint. This is my enjoyment bar, and I want to talk about what makes Warframe enjoyable to me before I talk about how the community sometimes is too helpful. And this is from left to right. It's a bit of a journey of what makes Warframe enjoyable for me. At the very beginning, of course, let's do a different color. We have just learning in general, learning the game, learning the mechanics, learning mods, learning the activities, learning about the Warframes. Huge buckets of learning and knowledge in that. And then we have beginning to apply some of that knowledge to making builds. You know, the fundamental loop of the game is putting that knowledge together. Like, oh, for this activity, I might want to use this Warframe with this mod, with this weapon, with this companion to make a build. Having a look at the synergy of all those little bits and pieces you're starting to learn. And then you start grinding out because, of course, you're not going to have all the bits and pieces. You're going to be missing some mods. You're going to be missing that Warframe. You're going to be missing that weapon. So you got to grind a little bit to earn it. And then you might play a little bit and realize, oh, that really wasn't exactly what I wanted. You go back to learning. You look up a YouTube video. You end up stumbling upon a TikTok or something like that. And you discover another Warframe content creator that tells you maybe you should be using this mod. You go back to the learning stage. You then refine your building again. You then get back to the grinding. Okay, so you spend a little bit of time in his first 3 stages. And then I think you get to the end of the enjoyment journey for me, which is the actual game itself, the gameplay. And hopefully when you've got everything working in the first 3 stages, you know, you left click or you use ability 1 or use ability 2 and you go, wow, DPS. Numbers are all over the screen. Am I Warframing now? Look at me go, chat. I cannot see the screen. There are numbers everywhere and everything is now dead. You get that big dopamine hit because of all that time you've invested in the first 3 stages have led to success. I mean, the opposite of that is, like what's happened to me multiple times, I die. I don't kill everything. I realize my build is not as good as I thought it was. And then I go back to more learning, more building, more grinding, and I might change things along the way. I think the important thing for me is Warframe enjoyment spends a lot of time in these first 3 stages, learning, building, grinding. And I think, to be honest, for a game, a lot less time in the gameplay kind of enjoyment area. I think a way to think about this is if you have like a multiplayer PvP game, I think a lot of the enjoyment's sitting right at that gameplay area where you've got things like your skill, like your mouse and keyboard, like mechanical skill. I mean, of course, you've got learning and knowledge for like map awareness, all that kind of stuff. But like when you hit a really good shot, like there's a big enjoyment from like getting better at the game. I think Warframe actually has a very small component of like mechanical skill gameplay wise. You know, it does come down to like pressing buttons in the correct order. And a lot of more of that enjoyment is like front loaded with learning the game, learning what mods are powerful, building those mods, grinding those mods, leveling those mods up, pairing them with the right Warframe, in that first stages. And then when you left click, hopefully everything dies. Cool. Now that I've set that up, I'll talk about how I think sometimes the community bypasses some of these things that I find enjoyable in the game. So how does my enjoyment journey relate to how the community might help a little bit too much? Every single live stream, we at least have a couple of people that want to gift me everything. They want to gift me every mod I'm missing, a whole bunch of different Warframes, weapons, companions, all those, just everything. Bro, I got you. I'll gift you everything you want. And the reason I don't accept gifts in the game is because it ruins a big part of my enjoyment journey. I end up bypassing all of this. All of a sudden, I don't need to learn everything. You're doing the thinking for me. You're giving me the weapons and the builds and the Warframes and the companions that all go together. So I don't need to learn anything. And the build's going to be powerful enough I can just hopefully steamroll everything. And similarly, I don't need to do any of the build crafting for it. I don't need to do any of the trial and error. You've already got me to the end point of like, this is the meta. This is what you should be using. And I've definitely don't have to grind anything out because you're just trading it for me. So that only leaves really the gameplay part for me to really enjoy. Now, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this because I think once you've got everything perfected, do you not start again? Like, I feel like when I get to the point where I'm cruising through Steel Path missions, I've got my Warframe perfected, got my mods perfected, got my companion perfected, and everything's looking nice and tidy, I'm probably going to want to start again. I'm probably going to want to move on to the next Warframe, the next flavor. I think like that's the advantage of Warframe. That's the fun of it, is there's so much variety. As soon as you get bored, you just move on. And I don't know. I don't know if this is unique thinking by me. Maybe I'm not cut out for Warframe, but I feel like I'm probably not going to spend that much time in this section here, which is just like destroying everything. I think once I perfect something, I'm like, yeah, this is really cool, really fun. Get that big dopamine hit, wipe the screen, get big damage numbers, and then be like, okay, what's next? What do you think the next cool Warframe is? What should I look at next? Like, what's the next cool thing to look at? So I think when you gift streamers everything that they might need for a build to get them straight to that gameplay section, I think you actually deny a lot of fun of the game. And this part for me becomes really, really hollow if I haven't worked for it. Now, of course, there's like nuance to that. Like some things do take a long time to grind for. Sure, I'm sure people will ask for help then. But it's more about like, well, there's a couple of things here. It's not everyone. There are some bad actors, and I wouldn't even consider them part of the Warframe community, and I've already banned them in all my live streams, that just don't take no for an answer, and I don't know why they can't get it in their heads. I think it's fine to offer, dear streamer, would you like to trade? Are you taking trades? Are you taking gifts? And the streamer says yes or no, and then you leave it at that. I had to bat people off with a shovel. I said, dude, you are not getting it. Like, oh, no, it's fine. I'll give it to you. No, don't worry about it. I'll give it to you for free. No, you're not getting it. I don't want it. No, that's all right. All right. Just send you a friend request. You accept that? I don't know if you are actually listening to me. I don't want the gift. Okay. Yeah, so I've got all the trades. The only people I have banned are the people like that. And look, I wouldn't consider them part of the Warframe community. And if you see people acting like that in streamers, chats who just are not accepting no for an answer, kick them out. Rag on them. You don't want them. They're giving you a bad name. But I do think overall, like they're a different basket. I think overall, the community is eager beavers to help people out, to help new players out. They just want to be helpful. And I think you do run the risk of denying some of the enjoyment of Warframe. And I think most of it does, not the bad actors, but most of it does come from a place of just knowing that Warframe is grindy, feeling like people are going to be put off by that grind, are put off by how slow paced things can be to get, and just wanting to speed up and feeling that that would actually help making the game more enjoyable. And of course, there are some truths to that, you know, you want to give people a taste of what it might feel like towards the end, what you're working towards. But my rebuttal to that would be like, Duviri circuit exists now, and I think that's like a great thing in the game to give new players a taste of different Warframes and different weapons performing at probably a higher standard than what a new player would perform at. And you'd be like, oh, okay, this is kind of what I'm aiming for. Right. I think you might then bring up, well, Myelin, what do you think of the microtransactions yet? Is that just skipping content? Is that just skipping enjoyment? Like, what's the point of microtransactions and if you can buy stuff on the market? And this is, I'll use an example because I think this is perfectly highlights it. I needed a mod. I can't remember which mod it was. And I was like, okay, chat, how do I get this mod? And then immediately, chat was like, don't do it, don't farm it. It's too low percentage, you know, not worth your time, buy it for platinum. Thanks for that follow. And my rebuttal is, I want to feel the pain a little bit because then the end product is more satisfying. Go to the wiki. I want to learn where this mod drops. I want to run this mod. Let's not do the whole bloody day. Okay, I want to run this mod for 15 minutes. All right, come help me farm this for 15 minutes. Come help me farm this for 30 minutes. Come help me farm this for an hour. I want to get to the same conclusion as you. Like, yeah, F this mod. I actually don't want to farm this. Okay, now I'm going to learn about the market, the Warframe market. Chat, how do I find out what's valuable in my account that I can sell for platinum and I can now purchase this mod with? I want to go through that whole experience. And sometimes I think if you push people to jump to the end conclusion, to get the end of the maths equation without doing all the working out, it's a lot less of an experience. I want to come to the same conclusion as you, like, yeah, okay, maybe I do want to fast track this. Maybe I do want to pay for this. Maybe I do want to trade with this, but I want to get to that same conclusion by realizing that mod sucks to get, or that mod is too hard to get, and other things are easier, or maybe I want to do a different part of the game. I do think that is what creates memories and communities in games. Like, yeah, I'm going to remember Warframe more if I spent X amount of hours trying to farm something. It's kind of a weird thing when it comes to loot and shooters. You will probably remember the things that are most painful to get in your video game history. You ask Destiny players what their memorable moments are, and it will probably be something about Galahorn and not getting Galahorn, or how many raids they've done without getting an exotic. It bonds us together in pain. Let them suffer. Let the streamers suffer just for a little bit, but not long enough that suffering then turns to apathy and they want to quit the game. Okay, it's a very fine balancing act. And that was my main talking point, really, about this subject of like gifting things to new players, whether that be a streamer or your friend, and trying to like push them through the Warframe experience before they've gone through it themselves. There is another topic in this area of like the community maybe helping too much, and I think it's really highlighted when I turn my team on public and I get chat to help me out, and the discrepancy, the difference between like my Warframe and my build and people who've been playing the game for like 12 years is so great that I actually don't play the game. Like, I make jokes often like, oh, I wonder if I'll get to see this target. Nope, they're dead. Oh, and the mission's complete. It's not just like their ability to like wipe the field and complete the missions, but it's like, yeah, okay, can I play the game now? There's two sides of that. It's really good when you're farming to be able to like pull on a resource like that and actually have people help you. So it's obviously fantastic when you want to farm something, but usually the first time I like do something, like I want to experience it. I want to understand how it works. I want to fight the boss myself and work out the mechanics, and then we can blast through it. So I think I actually really struggle in Warframe because I actually prefer to play solo for the sheer fact that I actually still get to play the game and know, I can see the enemy before they die, and I get to like test my build and all that kind of stuff, and actually see where I'm at legitimately without being sort of dragged through it by the scruff of my neck. But this game really does request you play in a group. It is very group orientated and it rewards group play. So I do actually really struggle in this scenario. And I think the only thing that you can really do if you want to, if you've got a friend playing Warframe or you get in to help in a streamer, is just kind of ask them, do you want me to blast this? You want me to go fast? Or do you actually want to play the game? Just let us know, right? Sometimes I might be farming something and they want you to just go quick, and that's great for me. I just talk to chat and I just like left click every now and then, and I'm hardly doing an objective and we're just having a chat and everyone else is completing everything for me. And other times I want to learn it. I want to have that experience. I want to understand it so I can help other people too, right? There you go. Probably one of the most unique problems of any gaming community, something I've definitely not experienced before, which is just being too helpful. Just try to back off a little bit. Let people experience Warframe. Let them. I think the pain and the grind is part of the experience. You don't want people to wallow there and be so confused that they leave. But I think it is part of the journey. I think that's probably my take-home message, is like the destination for me. Firstly, it's not where the content is, right? The content for me is in the journey, and us little content thieves that do live streaming, we want to be able to make YouTube videos, we want to be able to make YouTube shorts. Like, that's where the content is, like learning, discovering, making mistakes. It's in the journey itself. And yeah, the destination is not as important. So gifting people everything to get them straight to the end game, I don't think is actually super helpful, and you might scare them off. And we want to keep them around in Warframe for a bit longer. There you go. I hope you enjoyed. I am going to be covering monetization. That's my next big topic, next big thing to think about. However, ironically, I haven't been able to successfully do it on stream and to really get my thoughts about monetization, because every time I try to use Warframe markets, someone from chat will buy it or trade with me, and I don't feel like I'm getting the proper experience of the Warframe market. So I have to dedicate some time off stream to actually get into the Warframe market to see how trading is without chat inflecting it and trying to help me too much. Okay. Thank you as usual. See you next time. Bye-bye. Oh, you want to leave a comment? Too helpful. Oh, leave all your tips and tricks as a comment. All right. Bye-bye.